Well, the question isn't should they go back. The question is should they go back safely? And then there's some obvious things like spacing, for example. Universities have lots of extra space. There are not many classes taught in the early morning or the late evening or in the summer or on the weekends. And keeping people apart from each other is step number one. And good hygiene is step number two. Things we've all heard about. Then flu shot, that's step number three, because the flu season is coming up about the time this virus could be coming back in the fall. And then testing. We're having huge increases in the number of diagnostic tests that are available in Tennessee. Governor Lee's made that a priority. So testing the most vulnerable people on campus, anybody who goes into cleaning staff that goes into dormitory rooms. There is a way, I think, to have as a reasonable goal making a school in Kingsport or a university in Johnson City among the safest small cities in America as we go through the next year. And we'll have 4 times or 5 times as many tests in August and September as we do today. But I think the reason for testing is number one, to identify those who are sick or who might have been exposed and then isolate them for 2 weeks so you don't have to isolate all the rest of us. So if on a college campus you find a person who is infected, you isolate that person for 2 weeks. Everybody else can continue to go to school. Another reason to have the testing is to help the especially vulnerable people, older faculty members, people with pre-existing conditions of any age, people that might be going in and out of dorms every day, or food service workers or healthcare workers, and then just random testing to spot any outbreak. It'd be widespread testing, but maybe not every single student all the time. Well, as much as possible, the same things we already know about. As much space as possible between the students, 6 feet. Now that's harder in a school than it is in a college. Take the temperature every day. That's an indicator. Have tests available in case there's a little outbreak in a class, then you test the whole class. We may have to develop, at least for the next year, a culture of wearing masks, because staying apart 6 feet, washing your hands, and wearing a mask is most of what you have to do to keep this virus from spreading. And I think most students would rather be able to go back to school and wear a mask some of the time or all the time rather than stay home. If we want to stay open, we got to use our common sense. And common sense says stay apart as much as you can, wear a mask, wash your hands, and then we'll be able to go about our business. And then if you feel bad, report it and isolate yourself, as I've had to do for the last 2 weeks because I might have been exposed. We want to identify the people who are infected or exposed, which is a very small number of us, and isolate and quarantine them. Otherwise, we end up quarantining everybody, which has caused this terrible disruption to our economy. So I think Governor Lee's had about the right balance. He's emphasized testing. Tennessee leads the country, is among the leaders in the country in making diagnostic testing available, which also helps deal with the disease and helps build confidence. And he's testing vulnerable communities, every nursing home, every prison, areas where low-income people live. I think that's a very good strategy. My advice is, especially in East Tennessee where we live, is take a hike, get outdoors, go somewhere and take a walk. You can easily do that. You're not going to get in any trouble doing that. And if you're walking with somebody else, they can stay 3 or 4 feet away from you and you'll be fine. So I'd take advantage of the beautiful mountains and the outdoors and the parks and get outside this weekend. As far as large gatherings where you're right up next to somebody else, I don't think that's too smart right now. And if you're going to be near somebody, wear a mask.